right. Hey, everybody, and hack. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. where I am at. I am Tay, half of the Queens of Nerdom.
And I am Jen, the other half of Queens of Nerdom and of House Hufflepuff. Proudly so.
Ooh, I didn't know we were going to talk about our
And
houses yet.
welcome to. Oh, please go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't aware we were going to do the houses yet. As you can all see, I am House Ravenclaw.
You're okay?
Yeah, we're great. Sorry to interrupt your intro.
Love it. So, no, go right ahead. So, as you guys know, we did our heroes and villains episodes that we've been doing for the past several months. And, Tay and I were just talking, and we were talking with some of our buddies, and we just kind of felt like there was something missing. That or there's just more to say. So we have gone and done what is called a deep dive. So we went down the rabbit hole, and we're going to take you with us tonight. I know. So I hope you enjoy it. The people who inspired us to do this will shout you out as we go through the subjects that you inspired us to do. So hopefully you're on tonight and watching. But yeah, you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Super ready.
Let's do it. All right, let's do it.
There it is. Okay.
I love it.
I'd love
so
it so
awesome.
much. So as the standard is that we're going to go ahead and do a shot. So we're going to do a shot. So I have pomegranate Ciroc. What are you taking a shot of?
I hate myself tonight, so I am taking a shot of the Kraken. The Kraken.
Oh, God. Okay. Well,
I love it.
So this shot is going to be a shot one for our very own happy birthday to Mac. He's half of, the smoke pit. And also, we want to do a shot to the second part of our shot is to the actual smoke pit itself. If you guys didn't watch last night live, it was only on Patreon. So if you're not a part of Patreon, go ahead and subscribe and get in on those awesome perks. But the smoke pit actually allowed us to be part of their season 4 ending. And it was super cool. If y'all don't know, actually the smoke pit is where Jen and I met, because we've never actually met in real life. So without the smoke pit, there wouldn't be any queens. So thank you guys for having us on, and cheers. Salut.
That's so spicy.
Why is it so spicy?
Why is it so spicy? Why did I do that? It's fire. Okay, sorry. Okay, so again, happy birthday to you, Mac. Black was awesome being on the podcast with you last night. We thoroughly enjoyed it. But we are going to get started off on wand lore. So this is goes out to Rob. Rob, you know who you are. You're a first name basis in a lot of people's houses, I'm sure. But he wanted me to go deep diving into the wand lore because there's actually a lot of well, just that. There's a lot more lore behind it. Um, there's only a few trees that can actually produce wood that is wand quality. You can't just walk into a forest and like grab a twig and like make a wand. Just not doesn't happen. One indication to I've been wondered. 80, stop it. See you. Um, now, if you guys have seen the I can't- trying to focus, sir. Um, bow truckles. If anybody knows what a bow truckle is, if you have watched the Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them, a bow truckle is that little viney twig creature that you see. That's what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, no random twigs. Yeah, it has to be a magical tree. Um, they are tree guardians, and so they only live on trees that are of one quality. So that is a good indication that that tree has a one quality to it. The other thing to keep in mind that there are different trees that have different personalities. I know it's funny, but it's true. So wands were likely to choose a wizard that had like a matching personality. So, for instance, like a cypress tree would probably want to choose somebody that's noble and willing to heroically sacrifice themselves for others, while a pine is more of an independent and intriguing loner. And then you have like a spruce tree who is like a firm-handed wizard who's bold and had like a good sense of humor. It's like it's an interesting combination. Like these trees are very picky. Now,
Mm-hmm.
occasionally the firmness of the wand is mentioned as well. Like Harry Potter has a nice and like supple. I think you remember Ollivander was like holding his wand. He's like, "Oh, it's nice and supple." And then you have Bellatrix, where her wand is like very unyielding. And then Draco Malfoy was reasonably springy. And then
Mm-hmm.
Hagrid, his was like rather bendy. So that's another thing that comes into play when you're talking about wands. Um, the different branches of magic. So, like wands that are made from fir trees are good for transfiguration.
Okay.
So, I have a feeling that Professor McGonagall probably had a fir tree. I bet you. That's what I think anyway,
Hmm.
because she's like
Okay.
amazing at the transfiguration.
That's true.
And then you have the right. So then you have the yew tree, which is good for dueling and curses. So I would think an aura may have that wand, get one remade. I don't know, but it would make sense that if you're good at that, that's what your wand would want to choose you. So you, and then an elder wand is good for not the elder from an elder tree is good for nonverbal spells. I know,
Okay.
right?
That's interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
now, so now with wands, you know that we learned in the first Harry Potter movie that there's cores inside. Now, the best and most powerful wand cores are the phoenix feathers, unicorn hair, and then dragon heartstrings. And actually, these are the only three cores that Mr. Ollivander would use to make his wands. Now, the unicorn hair isn't very strong, but it was reliable and stable and incredibly difficult to turn to the dark arts due to the unicorn's purity. And then a dragon heartstring is more strong and like flamboyant and but like prone to accidents.
Okay. So do
Maybe
you think
is
that like Neville's maybe
that
his like
runs?
was his first one like made with dragon maybe? Because like you know
I'd
how
be
like he was.
curious to see if it was.
Hmm. Okay.
He was prone to accidents a lot. I don't even yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm sure I probably brain dumped that one. Um, and then you have the phoenix feather, which is actually the rarest type of core. It's capable of the greatest magic range, and they show the most initiative, sometimes acting on their own accord. And they're actually the most pickiest when it comes to potential owners. I mean, do you remember who had a phoenix feather in their wand? Anyone? Anyone? Harry.
Hmm.
Remember,
Oh, are
Harry and
you this
Voldemort
is
had
oh,
phoenix
goodness.
feather in their wands, and it came from the same bird. Hmm?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't remember that, but oh no, because there was only two that Phoenix only had two feathers, and one was in Harry's, and then the other one was in Voldemort's wand, but it could only be wielded by Harry because of things and such.
Right. Actually, go over what happens when their wands fight each other. Because Dumbledore touches on it, but he doesn't really go into what that. Well, he kind of does, but it kind of like went over my head. I was just like, uh huh. But it's. I just hit my horn. But yes, I will go over that. So, going about
Okay.
the most. I'm like my poor horns. I'm sorry.
It's fine. My
I
hood
will go
fell.
over the most famous and most important. We're falling apart over here. It's like I'm knocking horns. My hood's falling. Can't talk. Good. Sorry. Um, so the elder wand. All right. You remember in the story of the tale of the three brothers. So the story is, in case you guys need a refresher, is Death approached an elder tree. He retrieved a branch and created the elder wand. Now, many others, including Dumbledore, believe that um, the Antioch Peveril himself, not Death, created the elder one. So he actually used the wood of an elder tree and used the hair of a thestral.
Oh, because
Um,
they're
but they both
the
had
death
strong
forces.
cultural. Yeah. So, and if you look at it, they both have strong cultural connotations towards death. The thestral, the elder tree. So, kind of made sense. But other than that, the core of the wand was like never revealed. And I kind of like wondered because I remember because it was such an important part of the movie where Harry like breaks the elder wand in half. You know, of course you see this
Mhm.
flash of light, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing any other flashes of light when wands would break and stuff. But I mean, it was like a bright white, and I'm like, I wonder if that was a thestral hair. I don't know. I'm curious.
That is
Curious.
super curious.
All right. Right? I was curious about that. So the moment that Voldemort comes back, I'm talking about the moment in the Goblet of Fire. So you have Voldemort and Harry, and they start battling, and like their wands like create this color, like looks like magical goo coming off, and they're blasting at each other. Like to me, it looks like the photon packs from like a little bit from Ghostbusters. But this is called Priori Incantatum.
Okay.
Sorry, my Latin sucks, but this is, and like I said, this is when Voldemort and Harry, their wands share the same feather or the like feathers from the same phoenix. I think that's Fox. I don't know if they actually ever said it, but I was always suspicious. So that was Dumbledore's bird that donated for whatever had the feathers. Um, so what happens is that these ones actually consider or they're referred to as brothers, and when they come into contact with each other, there's a rare connection that's formed, and that's what the priori incantatum is. Now the wands will battle to merge into like a golden orb into the winning's shaft. Sounds bad, but that's what happens. The losing wand would then produce echoes of the most recent spells that had performed in the reverse order. So that's why you see Harry's dad say, "Hey, when I tell you to, you know, stop, like run, we'll distract him," because that's what's happening is that all these, memories or last spells are coming off of Voldemort. Now, after this happens, the two wands will actually recognize each other, and even if um, the wizard is not carrying that same wand with that same core, that wand will recognize the other wizard. So, in the Battle of the Seven Potters, Harry's wand actually recognized Voldemort and spurted flames at him, even though Voldemort wasn't carrying that wand. He was carrying Lucius's wand.
Okay. I can see that. All right.
Digest. Because I
Okay.
didn't notice that. I actually had to go back and watch. I was like, no, I didn't. Lies. I know. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I didn't. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Wand Lord. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, like, it makes sense that, like, when Dumbledore was talking about how, like, Harry and Voldemort, like, their wands can't, like, hurt each other just because, like, if you're brothers, like, you can't really, like, hurt each other like that, right? Like, so it makes sense in my mind anyway.
I get it for sure. It made sense to me after I was starting to read it, and then I went back and watched or I watched clips of the Battle of the Seven Potters, and I was like, oh well. I'm like, yeah, okay. I get it. I didn't know that's what happened. I wish they kind of would. There's things that just are missed that I wish they would go over more, but in the movies anyway,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Okay. So we're going to go into my first topic, which is actually about the Hogwarts houses. So, as you know, there are 4 houses at Hogwarts. You have your Gryffindor, you have Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and of course, you have Slytherin. The reason why I wanted to talk about these was just because people always like say that like you want to be in Gryffindor or you don't want to be part of Slytherin. But I mean, like as you could see with the last episode of it was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, when like it was the end scene when Albus Sirius Potter asked Harry Potter, his dad, like, hey, what if I get put into Slytherin? And he's like, well, then Slytherin has like one of the best wizards that I know. Like, right? You were named after Albus, who I'm pretty sure was Gryffindor. I don't remember or recall right now what actual his house was. And then
I think it was Gryffindor.
yeah, that makes sense. And then Snape, who was
Dumbledore.
in
Yeah.
the Slytherin house. So with that being said, like he was like, it's not a bad thing. So I wanted to go into the actual houses, the different traits for each of the house, and then kind of like go from there. So so the first one we're going to talk about is Gryffindor. And actually, so Jen's other half, Eric, he is a Gryffindor. The traits that Gryffindors have is your bravery, your daring, you have nerve, and you also have chivalry. The emblem that you see on their crest is a lion. The gemstone of that house is rubies, so like the red, right? And then the colors you have scarlet and gold. It corresponds with the element of fire. So each house has its own element. So for Gryffindor, it's fire. The significant object, and I'll kind of like double back on this later of like why I thought like talking about the significant object was interesting. It was the Sword of Gryffindor, which you first saw in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when he kills the basilisk or the snake. The famous Gryffindors Yeah. So the famous Gryffindors, you have Dumbledore, Harry Potter, and McGonagall. Those are like your three like top tier Gryffindors, if you will. So the next house that we're going to talk about is Hufflepuff. So that's Jen. So the traits of a Hufflepuff is to be hardworking, dedicated, patient, loyal, and fair play. The emblem that you see on their crest is a badger. The gemstone is a yellow diamond, which I thought was actually really cool.
Why is it gonna be a badger?
Because they're hardworking. You know, who else does what they do? Which I 100% understand everything that a badger does. And I know that a badger is not a beaver because I frequently get those confused. But, you know,
Do you think I'm a
stop
sorry?
it. No, that is not what I'm saying at all, Jen. Calm down.
I'm just like, and their emblem is a badger, and I'm like, why did they get a lion and I have a badger?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
kind
I was
of
just
don't
a little
have
distraught.
you don't have the best of emblems, you know, but it's an animal, so at least it's not like so going off on a little bit of a tangent, my high school mascot was a golden tornado.
Like a tornado of pee.
Yes.
Was that
Or
like if somebody
magical
peed
like
into the
fairy
wind?
dust.
Like,
um I don't know,
a
but
golden
you know, like
tornado.
everybody has their own like mascots that like run around at like sports games and stuff.
Yeah.
Ours was a giant tornado that was golden in color. Like it just didn't make any
That's
sense. Yes. So
I'll
AD
accept the
over here
badger
is
then. I'll shut up.
see what I'm telling you. Just be
That's what I
happy.
said.
Yeah, AD is saying that you are
Never pee
correct
into
in
the wind.
your tornado of piss, a
It's a
pissnado, if you will.
tornado. I
Also, thank
love
you,
it.
McCoy, for talking
I'm
about
correcting
how
myself.
this layout is fire, and thank you for your help in creating it. And I can't wait to learn on how to do this later. So anyway, to go back into their emblem is a badger. The gemstone is a yellow diamond. The colors are yellow and black, or black and yellow if you're like a fan of that song, you know. It corresponds with the element of earth. The significant object of Hufflepuff is the Hufflepuff cup, from like a Helga Hufflepuff's cup, which is actually turned into a Horcrux. Famous Hufflepuffs that you might have heard of are Newt Scamander, and then also the founder of Hogsmeade was a Hufflepuff. So for Ravenclaw,
Oh.
that's me. So Ravenclaws are known,
Whoop,
our
whoop.
traits. Our traits are intelligence, knowledge, curiosity, creativity, and wit. If any of you know me, I do have a constant thirst for knowledge. I wouldn't say I'm like intelligent, but I constantly do want to have that knowledge and curious about how to do like certain things or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into that too much, but anyway, my emblem or the Ravenclaw emblem is a eagle. The gemstone for Ravenclaw is sapphires, and it's a I don't know what that is. Is it like a dog, or is that what a badger is supposed to look like?
It's a Squirtle.
Is
Looks
it
like
a squirrel?
Squirtle.
Okay.
Crazy puppy. Anyways,
Uh,
I'm not sure.
the
Sorry, I
colors
got
for
distracted. I was like, what is that?
it's okay. The colors for Ravenclaw are the blue and bronze. It corresponds with the element of air. The significant object is Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, which is also a Horcrux. And other famous Ravenclaws, you have Luna Lovegood, Lovegood, Gilderoy Lockhart, you know, because that's an intelligent sir, and Ollivander. So, to go into the last house, yes, Luna is a gangster, and yes, Ravenclaw's emblem is an eagle, like a freedom falcon. That's
I
a
would think it'd
eagle.
be a you'd think it'd be a raven.
I think it's a little too on the nose, or I don't know. I mean, eagles are known to be like curious and intelligent, but I guess like a raven can be too. But ravens are also known to be like with death. So I don't know.
They're very smart. I actually watched a video about ravens. They're wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Oh my
That's why I always
god.
we have
Wicked
wicked
smart.
smart. Yeah. Girl, let me tell you, we have
Wicked
ravens
smart.
around here. I tell my kids, don't be mean to those ravens. Don't bring that ill to my house. I'm like, be nice to him. They want your
Yeah,
backpack, give it
is,
to him.
yeah, I mean, it's named after Rowena
Maybe.
Ravenclaw, so maybe she did like eagles. Yeah, that is true. Thank you, Danny. I mean, it could
Maybe.
possibly also be why you have a badger, because Helga Hufflepuff was just all about them badgers.
I like badgers. They're so cute.
Now
Maybe
I'm gonna
she
have to
like
go look
badger
at like.
milk. You know, makes you a lot stronger. Did
So anyway,
you don't
the
remember
next
that?
house. No, I have
There's
no
this
idea what you're talking about.
there was an SNL skit about badger milk. Badger milk. Anyways, sorry. We'll talk
It
about it later.
sounds.
Inside joke.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So looking forward to learning about badger milk. So, the last house that we're going to talk about is Slytherin. So my other half is my husband AD, and he actually is a Slytherin. So each one of like the main parts of your Queens of Nerdom were all different houses. So you know it's cool. Um, the traits of a Slytherin is you have ambition, leadership, self-preservation, cunning, and resourcefulness. So I know that everybody like thinks that like all Slytherins are bad, and yeah, sometimes like self-preservation can't always be a good thing. Like we were talking about yesterday on the smoke pit about how certain people were doing certain things to look really out only for themselves. It seemed like we were talking about Star-Lord and how he was trying to take off Thanos' glove, and then instead of like saving millions, he got upset because the girl that he was seeing or possibly starting to see was dead. So that's a whole thing.
Selfish. Selfish.
Yes. So maybe maybe Star-Lord is a Slytherin. That's something we should think about. Where are all the Avengers in these classes? I wonder, or these houses rather. But anyway, I digress. Slytherin, their emblem is a serpent. So yes, like Danny said, I'm a snake, a slippery snake.
I'm a snake.
So the gemstone is a emerald. The colors are emerald green and silver. Huh. Danny actually thinks that Star-Lord is a Gryffindor. You know, I would love to know why you think that, and I would love to read it in the comments. If you could throw that in there, that would be like super dope. I want to know your thought process of why. Slytherin, yes. So Slytherin, their colors are the emerald green and silver. It corresponds with the element of water, which I thought was interesting, because you would kind of think that like um, if your like emblem is a snake, like why wouldn't it be the earth? I don't know. I know there also are water snakes though, so
But yeah. Well, I mean, Hufflepuffs are Earth, so yeah, they're a water
yeah.
moccasin. Deadly.
There you
Deadly.
go. The significant object that is a part of the Slytherin is the Salazar Slytherin's locket, which also turns out to be a Horcrux. The famous Slytherins that you guys might know is Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort, or He Who Must Not Be Named, Dolores Umbridge, that gem of a human being, and Severus Snape. Yes, Severus all the way.
Severus
So,
win.
why I wanted to talk about the significant object is because all of the houses, the Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin, all had Horcruxes made out of their significant object, and then you had the Sword of Gryffindor be the significant object of Gryffindor. And funny enough, is that the Sword of Gryffindor can actually destroy Horcruxes, as we saw with the Diary of Tom Riddle in the Chamber of Secrets, and then we also saw the Sword of Gryffindor kill Nagini. Okay, so the reason why Danny thinks Star-Lord is a Gryffindor is that he's brave and courageous and has more nerve than any other MCU hero. He thinks he's chivalrous and definitely daring. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I can see where your brain's at for that, and I agree to some
I like it.
extent. I
I
do.
can see that.
Yeah, yeah. I
I don't think
definitely,
everybody perfectly fits into like their house. Yeah.
no, and nobody should, because that's weird. Like nobody is completely one way or the other, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that's the houses.
I support that.
Yeah. So Jen, what's the next thing you're going to talk?
Schools. So this was by popular request from our dear friend Willie. You guys know him as Mac, aka your boy on Smoke Pit. So I think this came from him playing the new Hogwarts Legacy. And he's like, oh dang, there's like more schools out there. And I was like, yeah, there's actually a few. I know that it's not Pottermore anymore. They ended up changing the website to the Wizarding World, but J.K. Rowling actually wrote some information. There's supposed to be a total of 11 schools, so I'll go over the ones that is published on Pottermore or Wizarding World. But yeah, she doesn't cover all of them. But it's a growing universe that I didn't even realize. I just thought like there's a lot of stuff that I missed on The Cursed Child, but there's actually like she continues to write things and she continues to write lore and stuff. So hats off to her. I think that's freaking awesome because the fans like I myself love that. I love when the world continues to grow. So the first school, of course, we're going to talk about Hogwarts. He could have been sorted at 11, so maybe not. Danny, I, uh, Danny, I can get behind what you're saying, dude. I get it. Like I see what you're saying, but again, like I don't think I think the qualities that you have that sort you into the house. I think it's a quality that um like comes out most in you is where they sort you. You know what I mean? So I definitely think one of those things he's definitely can be courageous. He has a lot of other, side things going on, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, that also goes
So,
with like the
uh,
it also goes with like
hmm?
the hat. Like it takes in consideration like what you actually want, and like I can definitely
Yeah,
see um like that um like you know that like Star Lord would want to be a part of being in Gryffindor because that's probably what he would have thought he would have wanted, right? Not so much of like maybe he would have fit more in with Hufflepuff or like Slytherin based on his attributes and qualities. But like I can definitely see like him getting sorted, especially at the age of 11 into Gryffindor. But anyway, I digress.
yeah. No, yeah. Danny is down to talk about the Marvels and their houses. I totally agree with Loki being from Slytherin, dude. He's even got the colors right. He's already color coordinating. I love it.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Let's talk about the schools. So the Hogwarts, located somewhere in the Highlands of Scotland. So all the schools I'm going to be talking about, and some of them kind of give a reference to the places that they're at, but and other ones they're just pretty secretive. Hogwarts actually takes students from all across Europe. It is known for being the stronghold of ancient magic, and they are often used to house dangerous objects due to the enchantments and the protections that the original four founders have placed in the school with the
Hmm.
intentions of protecting their students. But they use it to house dangerous objects, which the faculty, I'm sure that you saw, I think McGonagall and Snape, I think, were ones that kept telling Dumbledore, like, "Can't keep that here. Like, what are you doing? Like, the students will find." But you know, that's what Hogwarts is known for.
Yeah,
Um,
and then you also had like
I
Snape
am going to
putting sorry.
mhm,
I'm realizing there's
go
a
ahead.
little bit of a lag with
I'm
us.
delayed.
So
Yeah,
yeah, just like I
I'm
said, it's
lagging a little bit. Sorry, guys.
no, it's totally okay. And Danny, you're totally not hijacking the show, and we totally appreciate your comments. Definitely like would love to talk about that with you, like maybe later on like a different show. You know, maybe we can get together and actually talk about that. That would be like really cool. But like you
Oh,
also have
no. That's
what?
awesome.
Oh.
No,
So
he's like,
like
"I'm not trying to hijack your show." I'm like, "You're good, dude."
yeah, 100%. We love the like people coming in here and talking with us about like what your thoughts are because everybody's a nerd, right? In your own type of way. But like
Mhm.
Snape 100% didn't want the certain things in like the school, like the Philosopher's Stone, and he created his own enchantments and spells to try to stop anybody from like going in. Um, and like getting to it accidentally. So like it's understandable like why you wouldn't want that, but at least like he was trying to like do something to help.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. So, the you guys don't I'm gonna butcher some of these names, so, feel free to correct me in the comments of what you think they are called. But, you saw these beautiful ladies, the Beauxbatons, right? Remember during the
What is
Goblet
it
of
the
Fire?
ah,
So,
those girls?
and, like, birds fly off or something else, it's like, "Really? Okay." Not my cup of tea, but people like that. Um, so the places that, they get students from is, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, Luxembourgian, and Belgian students. They're in the, Pyrenees area. Nicholas Flamel, the, great alchemist, philosopher's stone making person himself, is there or, went to school there. It's also said that there's a large fountain to have healing and beautifying properties. I suspect that they go swimming in there.
Mm,
That's what I
yep.
think, anyway.
Probably.
And yeah. And the thing that they're very good at is playing chess, apparently. They whip Hogwarts butt every year for a long time at chess. So I know. I didn't see that one coming. I was like, really? All right. Interesting. And they don't have like different houses that I could see from like Hogwarts does and like any of the like websites and stuff out there. So because you're just you go to Bobaton, you're a Bobaton. I don't know. Um, the Durmstrang. How do you say that? You say it better, Taylor. What do you say it?
No, I don't. I had I said Durmstrang because it
There you
sounded
go,
different, and
Durmstrang.
I was like,
Uh,
"Bruh."
close enough. Um, they're actually the most secretive school, located somewhere far north in Europe and Scandinavia. And they get students from, well, Scandinavia, Norway, and Sweden. Their visitors are submitted to memory charms to erase any memories of its whereabouts.
Oh, it's
Bit
like
much.
the Men in
Then
Black, the black the stick, the flashy stick, the forget
can
stick.
you imagine? Did you flashy thing me? No, I didn't flashy thing. You did flashy thing me. Did you flashy thing me?
Yeah, EJ's in the comments, and it doesn't look like, as far as you've seen, have you seen that like any other school actually have houses or like a sorting hat type thing, or is Hogwarts the only one that you've seen that actually does divide its students the way it does?
Not that I could find. I mean, if again, I don't know everything, but I mean, if somebody else has read something different, let me know. But not that I could find. And I mean, I looked at Pottermore and I looked at the Wizarding World. I didn't even see fan theories, honestly, if there was like
Mm,
any like houses within the other schools. So I don't know.
yeah.
Sorry, got nothing for you. Um, All right. Now, oh, and one thing I wanted to tell you guys about, each of the schools are kind of known for being really good at like one thing. So the one thing that Durmstrang is really good at is they put a lot of emphasis on teaching the dark arts to their students, which is good, right? Because you saw when Harry was kind of encouraged, bullied, harassed into making Dumbledore's army that was for defense against the dark arts,
Yeah.
right? It's
Mhm.
necessary, especially in defense. When you're defending yourself, you need to know how to be the, attacker and defender. So, yeah. All right.
So,
Now, the
quick question.
Mahutu Koro. What?
Sorry. Like
No, go ahead.
what is the other school? Is it Durmstrang that went to Hogwarts in like the Goblet of Fire? Is that where Victor Crumb is from? It just sounds
Yes.
aggressive.
Yes.
Okay. And also
It sounds
Danny also
aggressive. Yeah. Your sister.
So Danny actually said that one of the ones that you're going to talk about later, Livermore. Yep, that one. It actually does have four houses. So EJ, if you actually do want to know about those other houses, I'm sure that there is information out there, rabbit holes, to find about that kind of stuff. But thank you so much, Danny. We appreciate it.
Like, yeah, cool. Well, I didn't find it. Good on you, dude. All right. So the Mahutu Koro is actually the smallest of the 11 schools. They are located on a volcanic island of the Minanami in Iwo Jima, Japan. They're This one's actually really cool. So their robes are enchanted to change colors as the wearer grows in skill. So they start off as a pale pink, and then they end up golden if the student actually achieves high grades in all of their subjects. And if the student actually ends up turning to the dark magic, it changes to white.
So is that
Which is
like
weird.
lightsabers? How they change in color with like your mastery?
Yeah, cool. I want to learn something. I don't want to walk around with pink robes.
Also,
Got
like
pink robes. Got pink robes.
when Jedis go as Padawans, you get different robes. You get your Jedi Master robes. So like I guess like that's kind of also similar to Star Wars, that they have their own robes that change.
Change colors. You get to upgrade a
Yeah,
color. But what if like your highest level, you don't really like that color and it clashes with you? Like, what do you do with that?
you grin
Like,
and bear
gold
it.
doesn't really go with my skin tone. Like, what would they? I guess. I'm like, I don't like gold. Can I
EJ
have
says they have
silver? Okay.
pockets. Literally, I put on my robe and I looked at AD and I was just like, the one thing that would make this better is if it had pockets. Why doesn't it have pockets? I don't have any pockets on my person. I want pockets. Please just give me pockets.
Like, people need pockets. People need pockets, okay? Like, more pockets, the
Sometimes
better.
sometimes my hands get cold and
Gosh.
I just want to like put them in some pockets.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say put them under your arms like this. No, maybe not. All right. Now since we talked about the smallest school, I thought it was only fair to also bring up the largest school right after. So that would be the Ugadado. Ugadado, please, sorry, correct me. So it's actually located in Uganda, Africa. It has no other address than the Mountains of the Moon, which I was like, oh, what a cool address to have. Like, that's so poetic. I'm like, that is so neat. Um, they only actually adopted wands in the recent years of their school. Many of their spells can be cast with like a simple hand gesture or pointing of a finger.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're taught without wands. So that was, yeah, I was really shocked when I read about that. And instead of receiving an owl, instead of receiving an owl when they're accepted, they receive a message um, through a dream messenger from their headmaster or headmistress, and usually a token is left in their home, and that's how they kind of like um, connect with them, is like through that stone, and it's like inscribed and everything. So, I know, isn't that neat?
That's pretty
I was like, that's
neat.
so
Yeah,
cool.
that is like
But
super
really, they're like,
neat.
yeah, right. I'm like, especially the nonverbal spells, and then they don't use wands. I'm like, "Good Lord." I'm like, that's I mean, imagine, like, a lot of them couldn't even cast spells if they didn't have their wand, or it wouldn't be as effective, but sounds like they probably could because the schools in Africa can do it. Catch up. All right. So the Castelo Bruxo is a rainforest in Brazil. It is protected by the Kaipora, which are small creatures who are very tricky and mysterious. Um, the former headmistress claims that they cause more trouble than Peeves actually does. So, and this school actually specializes in herbology, mazoology, and other exchange programs for students wanting to encounter other types of flora and fauna. So I think this is actually where Neville Longbottom ends up going to actually get better at his herbology.
Hmm. Like after
Um,
Hogwarts,
now,
or
but
do you think he leaves to go
yeah,
after? Okay. Interesting.
I think he did because I think eventually he ends up teaching. He works under Madame Pomfrey in Hogwarts. So I
He does.
think I
Yes.
remember reading somewhere that he ends up going here. Yeah, he ends up
Okay.
going here and like studying more herbology too. I would still study herbology too. Hey, it's legal now. Study away.
Go for it, EJ. You know,
All right.
let us know what you learned.
Now the let it go. Now the Ilvermorny in North America, so has as many of its roots in the Native American culture. So the Native American wizarding community are gifted in animal and plant magic, and they're also gifted in wandless magic.
So with their hands,
So yet
or
again,
what does
so
that
the
mean?
Americans are good at wandless magic, so the Africans, so they don't have to use wands when they cast magic.
Okay. Okay.
What I'd be curious to know is that can they also do nonverbal stuff? Like I know, I don't really like consider yeah the movies. I more mean like the book lore. Can they cast things without? I don't know. Can they? Can they just do a gesture
I
and not talk
mean, well,
and just
that's
cast
what
things like
they say,
Bewitched?
that the most powerful type of magic is nonverbal. So you can do any type of magic nonverbally, but you have to train for it. And it's definitely interesting to like watch like Harry Potter like growing into the older movies, because you can see like Hermione actually does a lot of spells and doesn't say anything. So it's like it's really interesting to
Hmm.
watch and think about things like that.
But like, I never found anything where it said any one particular school was good at both. There was just one that was good at one or the other. One was either good at wandless magic or one was good at like nonverbal, but they had to use a wand.
So EJ
Couldn't find
asked
anything.
if Dumbledore was able to do nonverbal magic, and as far as like, I've never actually researched
Oh
Dumbledore
yeah.
like that, but he did. Like, remember in I think it was in the Order of the Phoenix, or it might have been before that. No, it was the Order. Shoot, I don't remember which movie it was, but when he was like, they were like, we're gonna take you to Azkaban,
Mm-hmm.
because he was the one that was in charge, or he was taking the blame for Harry creating Dumbledore's army. And he's like, yeah, it's me. It's all me, man. Like, it's literally in the name. It's Dumbledore's army. It's not Harry Potter's army. It's Dumbledore's army. And then they're like, well, we're going to have to take you to
Right.
Azkaban because it's illegal. And he's just like, just because I said, like, I admit fault doesn't mean that you're going to take me to Azkaban. And then he just like goes over
Right.
and he just like claps his hands, and then like the Phoenix makes him like disappear. So
Right.
yeah, I think, long story short, that was me trying to say that like Dumbledore didn't say anything to make that spell happen, if that was a spell. And that's also a thing. Like, what if he had flu powder? Or I think flu
Yeah. Well,
powder
you
is
can
actually
even
only
see.
available. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he even like when he battered Voldemort, like he didn't always speak. Like he would just cast. So like he was. I mean, and really at the time we didn't know that he had the Elder One, so he's using the Elder One as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Was there
All
ever
right.
a backstory of how
And
he
the
got the Elder Wand?
last one. Oh, I knew you were gonna test my brain tonight.
I'm sorry. I have questions.
Oh god. I read it too. Somebody check
Oh,
me. I knew he defeated somebody in a battle.
okay.
Who is his it's on the tip of my tongue. Was it Grindelwald? He defeated Grindelwald in a duel because Grindelwald had the Elder Wand. Don't ask me how Grindelwald got the wand. I don't remember that. But I'm pretty sure that he defeated Grindelwald in the duel and took his wand, and that was the Elder Wand. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. Okay.
All right, I'm looking. I'm looking to see who checks me. I'm looking. I'm looking at
Danny
you,
said
Danny.
that Harry. Well, Danny did say
Danny's
that
got my
Harry's
back.
first spell was actually a nonverbal. So that, yeah, because he didn't even know he was doing magic. Like, and I think because Harry's a Horcrux and
Oh,
has Voldemort's soul in him, it was actually Voldemort who was also very powerful in nonverbal magic. I think that was Voldemort able to use Harry as an object to do what he did with the snake.
Yeah, he made the glass disappear.
Yeah.
And was speaking to the snake in parcel tongue. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Man,
Little
Harry,
things that you
feeling
think
you,
about,
dude.
like, after. Yeah. So
Here we
Danny
go.
said
Danny's
that.
got me. What you got for me, bro? Bruno's still the one on the run after he killed an elderly wizard in Azkaban. Oh, okay. I just knew how Dumbledore got it. I didn't remember reading about how Grindelwald got the wand. Did they say who that wizard was? I'm just curious now. Man, that the elder one was in Azkaban. What a terrible place. Dang. Glad you hung in there, elder one. Hang in there, buddy. Don't let the Dementors get you down. Sorry. Okay, last school. All right. The Kol Dufstor Stets. It's in Russia, guys. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
That
So
sounds
the
right.
name meaning Kol Dufsto means witchcraft, right? Thank you. I try to pronounce things appropriately. So the Kol Dufsto means witchcraft, and then Tovorits means creator. Creator of witchcraft. Interesting. So these badasses, this rumor is that instead of flying around on broomsticks, they actually fly around on uprooted trees. Totally uprooted. Can you imagine the insults
Can you
flying?
imagine? Can you?
Like, why are you,
Jen,
sir? Your roots are getting in the way.
can you imagine
Why are you
just like
flying
sitting
around
there?
on toothpick?
Can you imagine just sitting there in your lawn and just looking up and seeing like a flying tree and just being like, yeah, that checks. Only in Russia.
Only in Russia, my friends. Maybe they just fly like during tornadoes. So really those are witches flying around in tornadoes. Like, guys, tornadoes come, gotta go. Don't know it's us. No. So to me, I'm just wondering, like, how often do you have to like replace said trees? Like, are we talking like it's fresh trees all the time? Like, oh, I need a ride. Let me just rip this out of the ground. Because me, if he's flying overhead, I'm just gonna be like wet and like get the dirt in my eye and everything. It's very. I have thoughts. I have deep thoughts about this. I'm very concerned.
Or do they get like a tree and do they make it into like a surfboard and they're like looking like the Silver Surfer, like skating, like surfboarding around on a tree? Or is it like just a
In the
whole
sky?
tree? Whole tree. Yeah.
It's a whole
Because
tree. It's
it's
a whole
aerodynamic.
tree.
Oh, with leaves and all, branches and all.
Yes, that's what the picture showed. I'm telling you, that's what the picture showed. I was like, what? Like a whole
Oh my
tree?
god.
Like,
A whole tree.
don't get that pine tree. Like, you can't use pine trees because they chafe a little bit. So you have to make sure you get like, never mind. I'm gonna stop right there. Let's go into a dark place.
Oh my god. Jen, what the fuck?
I'm just saying.
I mean,
Pine bark.
I'm just gonna stop there. So, like, eventually the tree does die, right? Because trees need nutrients and
You know you love
soil,
me.
and I just and water to like survive. So eventually the tree
Maybe
will
they
die.
pamper it. Like they get home, they replant it, root it back up. I don't know. Maybe it's like a good symbiotic relationship. I mean, I really can't say.
Like Avatar, where they put their hair into the tail and it's like tentacly, but it's with the tree. They put like a splinter in their
Come on,
leg and they're
tree.
like, yeah,
Maybe.
okay.
A magical splinter. It's like.
So
God.
anyway,
I have so many thoughts. Okay. Sorry.
So our last topic of the night, now that we are talking about trees, a whole tree in the air, a flying tree.
A whole tree. Mm-hmm.
Our last topic that we're going to talk about is the different theories that I have researched and came across that I wanted to share. Now, of course, there are so many of them, and some of them are really wild, and some of them like actually make sense. So I only took a couple because I didn't want to make this like a very long podcast, obviously, because like why anyway, if you do want to know more about different theories, you can always message us on the Queens of Nerdom, Facebook page, or you can do some research on your own and come to us with the information. We can tell you our thoughts about it. But the different theories that I'm going to be talking about, the first one is that Harry Potter is actually just Star Wars. Now, Jen herself actually showed me this. It was on Instagram, but was it a TikTok or was it an Instagram reel that we saw? Do you remember?
It was a TikTok reel, I think.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
So this one is all about how Harry Potter is actually Star Wars. So Harry Potter and Luke are both orphans, and they're placed in the care of their aunt and uncle. So I'm just going to lead you with that first step, right? Then the person that abandoned them actually comes back and then teaches them like the Force or magic or the entity that they will learn for the rest of their lives now, right? And then while they, more that they learn about magic, they feel like something is different inside of them, like there's something that's weird. So then there's a weird tension between like the main protagonist and the main female. So for Star Wars, you have Luke and Leia. And for Harry Potter, you have Harry and Hermione. Now, like there's always that weird tension, but they never actually ended up getting together because the lead female always goes for the other male that is the best friend of the main protagonist. So you have
the comic
Han
relief.
Solo.
He makes
and
me
you
laugh.
have the scruffy comic relief is the person that they ended up being with. Then they learn about a Lord something or another, and that's actually the person that killed their parents. For Star Wars, it ends up being Lord Vader, who actually is his dad, just like the dark side of his dad. And then for Harry Potter, it's Lord Voldemort that killed his mom and dad. And then these heroes are just naturally also good at flying and like able to find specifically small things. So for Luke, you have the opening of the Death Star where he shoots his like laser stay on target. Is something that I always say when I'm just like doing like a task and like stay on target.
Stay on target.
But for Harry Potter, it's the snitch, right? When he was doing oh god, what is it called? Quidditch. That. So that was the first one.
Okay.
Is that
words are hard?
Yes. So that was the first one, that Harry Potter and Star Wars are just very similar. And Danny said it too, is that like Aragorn, which is a different book that is a trilogy that they just came out with another book for, is just like a bigger Star Wars ripoff. But I actually enjoyed, there was a movie that they made off of this that I actually enjoyed, that I would have liked to see more of. But I also haven't seen it in years.
I haven't. I'll take your word for that, Danny. I haven't finished that one. I did like the book, and then I saw the movie. I think I got a little bored with the book near the end. I think
it was originally a trilogy, and literally,
and
like a month ago, they came out with the fourth book just randomly. Same author, same everything, same premise. Like it's just
Hmm.
the fourth book.
Right.
So that's interesting. Um, so the second theory that I'm going to talk about is that Harry Potter and Sirius Black are actually related. Now, in the movies, you're always like led to believe that Sirius
What?
Black. Girl, I told you when I was researching these, I was like, "Oh my god!" But anyway,
Ma'am? Ma'am. Lily. Lily, we need to talk. Lily.
so
Sorry.
no, it's not even anything like that. So literally, like in the movies, you are led to see that like Harry Potter is the godson of Sirius Black. And now that doesn't mean that they're actually related. It just means that like if anything were to happen to Lily or James Potter, Harry should have been placed in the care of Sirius Black. However, he was in prison in Azkaban because everyone thought that it was him that gave up Lily and James Potter, and he was the one that like got them killed. So
Gotcha.
in the Order of the Phoenix, you see the house tree of the House of Black, right? And they kind of zoom in on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
they zoom into this part where there is a like blacked out part, and then like it splits off, and those are like blacked out people. Like someone like threw like a fire spell or something at it, and it like you cannot see like the person's face or anything. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the tree, there is a Doria Black and a Charles Potter that had an unnamed son. Now, could that unnamed son actually be James Potter? They were redacted. Yes. It's part of the
Could be.
classifieds.
They were redacted. It's true. Right. It's like the
So,
black marker.
so that would mean that like
Yeah.
Harry and Sirius Black are actually blood relatives. Now they would be like uncle and nephew or whatever, but it could have happened that way. But like once somebody
Yeah.
in the Black family marries somebody that is not of pure blood, you are disowned from the Black family.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
maybe that's what it was. Um, so the next theory that we're going to
Okay.
talk
No,
about,
I get behind that. I was just like, what? Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to keep on just like throwing little like nuggets in your brain. So the next theory that we're going to talk about is how
Okay.
Neville
I'm
Longbottom
processing.
Neville
Mhm.
Longbottom just needed the right wand. So Neville in his first years of school is always messing up on his spells, on his potions. Things are being blown up, and you just like it's never correct. Now you hear that Neville says that he's actually using his father's wand in order to honor him, because like he wanted
Mhm.
to, like he was under the care of his grandmother, and like they had his father's wand. So then
Mhm.
they decided to like Neville decided to take his father's wand to try to honor him. However, as you remember in the first Harry Potter, the wand chooses the wizard, right? You have to be compatible together to actually use the wand correctly. So if Neville is actually using his
Right.
father's wand, maybe that's why it's not
Mhm.
correct. And then you do see that the wand breaks, and then Neville finally finds his wand. And then from there on, Neville's skills just improve immensely, and he defends himself against Death Eaters themselves. The third cousin twice removed on his
Mhm.
mother's side. Yeah, just like that.
Still related. Still related.
There's like that theory is that like Neville just needed to find his right wand, and now he's like an actual powerful wizard, and it wasn't that he was just not smart or um, like good at being a wizard. It was just because he
Yeah.
didn't have his right wand. Um, so there's a theory out there that Snape actually killed Hedwig during the Battle of the Seven Potters. you see that Hagrid and the actual real Harry are like flying off, and then all of a sudden you see somebody like come through in the Death Eater mask, and Longbottom was my guy. Paused. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you see Hedwig come fly through. Then you see somebody in a mask come fly and like take out Hedwig with the killing curse. So what the theory is that Snape actually was the one that killed Hedwig. And this was because Hedwig was actually the one that gave away the real Harry Potter's position. And he even says that after he lands, and he lands at the Weasley Manor. And they're like, "What gave you away?" And he's like, "I'm pretty sure it was Hedwig." So Hedwig was possibly killed because Snape killed him to try to protect Harry even further. So that was like a theory that was put out there.
He knew.
Because Snape was always out trying to protect Harry, and like even with accidentally like slicing George's like ear, right? OPSEC.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think I remember reading that one once before, and I have to go back and watch it because then I'm like, oh yeah, makes sense because I mean, he would have been with the Death Eaters, I think, at this point, right? And so he, could have very well have been there, and probably saw because Hedwig was trying to protect Harry. So he's like, it sucked though because she's trying to protect him, but she was giving him
Exactly.
away at
And
the same time. So
yes.
yeah, that
And
sucks.
that's why. And as like much as it like sucked to like think about it, and you're like, ah, that's rough. It's really rough.
Yeah.
So so we're gonna get into a really deep one now. Okay, so prepare yourself.
Okay,
So there's a theory out there that the Dursleys actually never hated Harry. Now, why, you might ask, is because Horcruxes affect the mood of those around them. As you saw with the locket, as you saw with the Diary of Tom Riddle, both Horcruxes both made people do some really weird things and make them like really like start to nag at each other. When they had the locket, when they took it from Dolores Umbridge, like Ron like started like arguing and getting into like really bad like vibes with Harry, right? So, if Horcruxes affect the moods of those around them, and Harry is a Horcrux, what if the Dursleys never actually like hated him? They just had their moods affected because of him.
Yeah. I can get behind that, especially his uncle, man. I think his aunt, Petunia, I think she actually cared for him, but she was just trying to support her husband. Yeah, his uncle probably was more susceptible to it if that's the case. Because I think near the end, I think Dudley, there was a cut scene, or a scene that they cut out from was it Deathly Hallows 1? He was leaving. I can't remember. But Dudley, like, and him, like, actually, like, got along and, like, said goodbyes and stuff, and I was like, "Aw, I still don't like you, Dudley, but, you're redeeming yourself, continue." But, yeah, I can see that. Maybe, yeah. I
Okay.
get it, yeah. Is there more? I like it. Keep
Yes.
them coming.
Okay, so another theory is that the tale of the three brothers keeps repeating itself. So the original tale of the three brothers is the one that you heard from Jen. However, now it just keeps repeating itself. So the tale of the three brothers now is with Voldemort being so power hungry that he asked Death for the Elder Wand because he wants to be the most powerful wizard. So Voldemort wants the Elder Wand.
Mhm.
Snape he has the love of his life die before like anything can really like happen with her. So his love for Lily, which means that he would have wanted the resurrection stone to try to bring her back and spend more time with her. And then Harry would have just wanted to get the fuck away from death. So he would have had the invisibility cloak that he would have passed on to his son, just as the invisibility cloak from his who had the invisibility cloak before Harry? Was that Sirius Black, or was it
his dad did, James?
Okay.
It was James.
So then how did they get like wrapped in underneath the tree? So who had it? Because his dad's dead.
I don't know.
As much as that sounded really bad. Anyway, so all I'm saying is that like I remember that his dad did have it, but like someone passed it down to Harry from his dad, but it would have been from like father to son, just like the story said. So the repeating itself of the tale of the three brothers is what that theory was, and that those were now the three brothers.
So I really like that theory mostly because of Harry's ending, because Harry embraces, or if you will, if you go with the story, greets death like an old friend. Like he goes into the forbidden forest alone, and then he ends up opening up you guys saw the movie, and to me that's he greets death like an old friend, and he goes there even with all of his loved ones, like they'll be with him until the end. So I thought was really cool. Like I think that's probably my favorite part about that theory is like Harry's ending with it. Present fairies.
That is super cool.
I agree. There you go. Present fairies. It's solved. That's how it got under the tree, Tay.
No, so Danny actually said that Dumbledore was the one that gave Harry the invisibility cloak. So thank you again, Danny, for being the knowledgeable one in the
Danny's got it.
to help us. We super appreciate it. So
between
I have three more theories. So one of them was that the Barty Crouch Jr., Bill Weasley, and Percy Weasley all used time turners. In The Prisoner of Azkaban, it was said that taking 12 owls was like for the classes was impossible. And the only way that Hermione did it was she was able to travel through time with the time turner. So can it be thought that maybe they also used time turners, because it was mentioned that like the three of them also did their 12 owls like at the same time in that same school year at Hogwarts. So I thought that was interesting.
I think I read somewhere that there is more than one time turner,
which would support this theory.
So I believe it.
Yeah.
And the story of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, because they have a time turner. I'm not sure if it's the one that Hermione used, so I think there's more than one. Scary things, those. Interesting. I like it.
So the second to last one that I'm going to talk about is that the Triwizard Portkey, like how does it transfer Cedric Diggory? So as we remember, the Portkey only transfers people that actually touch it, because like everybody has to be touching the Portkey, and then they all like swiveled around in the Goblet of Fire and went to the games. And that's when you like first hear about Victor Crumb and the Irish giant elf thing. Not elf, the Irishman. Leprechaun. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
So everybody had to touch the key to actually transport itself. However, when Cedric got transported at the end after the maze, he wasn't touching the port key because he was dead. So the reason why people think that this is able to happen is because Cedric has died and he is now an object. He has no soul. And that's how he's able to grab, like Harry's able to grab his body and transport it with him, because he doesn't have Cedric actually touch the cup itself, because he is no longer an actual living person. And the cup can transport like you and your objects that you have with you. So that's how that happened, which is super sad, but a theory nonetheless.
God, you got dark with the last one. All I could see was Cedric dead. I'm like, oh.
So there's one other one that I wanted to talk about real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
So the Triwizard Tournament, the participants, they're actually signed up, and it's using a variant of the Unbreakable Vow. The reason why this is a theory is because Harry can never quit. Like, they never allowed him to quit. They were trying to think of ways to get him out of actually doing the tournament itself, but they couldn't because there was this weird spell around it. So there's a theory that it's a variant of the Unbreakable Vow, and no one actually talks about like what happens if you break the Triwizard tournaments, like that contract. So that's why people think it's the Unbreakable Vow, or at least a variant of it.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think that, and I mean, I don't think that people want to, like, the students don't want to dishonor their school. You know, it's supposed to be like, you know, a very like prestigious thing. Like, there's, you know, out of how many hundreds of students that, you know, you get picked and you get to represent your school and, you know, show off your talents and everything. So there's that. But yeah, I get you. They didn't really talk too much about it, like how he couldn't do it. I just know that I think that was one of the first times we actually like could see like Dumbledore get mad at Harry, and I was just like, oh, Dumbledore's
which is funny.
mad.
It was really funny that happened, because I don't know if you've seen it, but there is like a meme that's going around
Cedric, no.
that there's like the book versus the movie, and the book says that like Dumbledore calmly asked Harry like why he put his name in the Goblet of Fire, and in the movie you have Dumbledore like running at Harry like very angrily and aggressively, being like, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Like, sir, I need you to calm down.
Like, Mr. Gabden, please calm down. Mr. Gabden, please calm down. Little Kita.
I don't know why you are so upset, but calm down.
You
All right, but that was it for my theory. He's just like, good luck, sir. But we have
dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow,
dishonor on your
dishonor
whole
your family, even your cow. Don't bring dishonor on Daisy. She works really hard. Sorry.
Damn, Eric. Always with the laughs, man. You always get it.
Love it. Love it.
All right, so we are on the final shots and thoughts part of the night. So, I just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody, and we hope that you have a great new year. The Queens will actually be back on January 6th, and we're going to be doing a What If Season 2 wrap party with our very own Black from Smoke Pit. So keep your eye out for that, and for information on how that's going to be done. We don't know yet if we're going to be doing it on a Facebook Live or if we're going to be doing a Patreon exclusive. I don't remember if we discussed that yet or not. But we will keep you guys in tune, so you will know like what we do. But again, like the holidays, when you're separated from your family, it's really hard. So, you know, you have lots of great people in the Queens Facebook group and even in DFPN in general. Please reach out to somebody and don't suffer in silence. Our Facebook group actually had to go private, and I wanted to discuss that real quick. So we had some content pop up on our, well, very vague. It's going to be vague. So our Facebook has turned into a private group, and it's just because there was content being popped up on it that we did not want on it. But fear not, we are still always welcoming people.
We were under attack.
Yes, we were attacked.
We were under attack. Attacked by boobies and things. Sorry.
Ma'am. I said vague. But yes, we had some videos that were not so savory and nothing to do with nerds pop up on our Facebook group. So we just wanted to go ahead and make our group private. That doesn't mean that we're not welcoming people. We are always welcoming people, just not bots. We do have like questions now to try to alleviate that. So please share to your friends and other people that you might think that are wanting to be part of the world of nerd. That's my dad. Hey, Dad. Not booby traps. Booby traps.
That's why they said booby traps. So we can hear them coming.
But next year is going to be so great. I cannot wait for it. There's a lot of great things in store, and we just like hope that you continue to work with us as we're growing and becoming what we really want to be. And we can't thank you enough for being here and sticking with us for our Wizarding World deep dive and such. And with that note, Jen, are you ready to peace out?
I am. Thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate you.
Peace.